sunset. It's noon or 12:15 or something. It's Zoe's 22nd birthday. I have the light on and the sky, and the sky, and the sky. It's the Erie, and it's evidence. Here while I think about taking my wander around and buying a house or a cabin or a condo in the desert or whatever it is I'm fantasizing about as something that could be something I could stay in for a while. It's a curiosity to me to have so much still to have so much. And to have given myself so much, because I started in this space without, and borrowed or found or bought on Facebook Marketplace what ended up here. Sometimes friends would give me so much, and so there's a mountain of clothes to give away, and there are all these shoes I tried that are not mine somehow to go forward with. Maybe they were mine to arrive here in this place with and think about. But I'm not wearing shoes. I haven't been wearing shoes since March, really, except when I make myself go out the door, which I am not doing very often. And there are my gifts, the beaded things I've made, and the red dress my mother made me for some New Year's Eve, some 1990 something, 80 something, was it the 80s even? But my mannequin can still wear it. And all these things I made or received or bought for myself. And that caged bird that's singing and opening. And this idea that I really have figured out how to love myself unconditionally. Because who the hell else will? And then to know for myself how important Black lives are to me. The Black life of my daughter, who is 22 today, and of my sons still living and thriving and growing into themselves and using their voices and making their place in this world. The world has a place for them. Almost all of my heart's left with this woman who came to buy the $5 magazine rack, who leveraged that purchase into renting my place. So all those hearts will come back here, and she says she'll buy anything I'm ready to leave behind. So I don't know if she really means that or not, so I don't know how much to get rid of or not. She did come by and say and claim everything she wanted, and I put that in the bedroom. But I still have more. These things I think are going to collapse and take with me to wherever I end up. But then, of course, when I think about just wandering for a while, I think about storage, which I don't believe in, because we don't even give human beings storage lockers, storage units to be able to sleep in at night. We make them sleep on the sidewalk. So I don't pay for storage, but I might pay for an art studio so I could still set up an installation and feel like I live somewhere, and give these Kuan Yins, who I adopted through my many purchases over the COVID internet, someplace to just be and hold energy for me. Or once upon a time, with a friend I don't have anymore, I took all my rocks and treasures and went to the tour in Avalon, in the actual Avalon, in the real Glastonbury, and I made these pathways with these treasures, crystals and keys, and and whatever I had assembled when I lived in London to stay with me and hold space with me. So I'm thinking about doing an installation here on the grounds of this place where I live with my crystals and what have you. But the pictures need a place. They need a home, and it's nice if the home doesn't burn up. But that's not what's happening in California right now. What's happening is not the peace crane breathing peace crane dragon. It's the fire breathing dragon of climate change. That's what it is. It's climate change, and the forests are on fire, and the smoke signals up above the earth are definitely saying that she's in trouble. And we can't breathe on each other, which is why we are to wear masks everywhere, because we have a respiratory issue on the planet right now. We have a breathing problem. We can't let each other breathe. And the earth feels pissed about that, I think. Or so I think. She says to me in the imagined conversation I have with earth and air and fire and water, looking out at Rothko's over the ocean on this day of days, where I got to give birth 22 years ago to this magnificent human being. This is September, this is the mandala from the first 12 days of the 2020, and this is what September looks like from that table I don't own anymore where I made it. And this is to be October, and this is to be November, and this is December. And that's what's left of 2020. And actually, only half of this one is left. This half. Or this half. Or this half. How do you have a whole? How do you have a wholeness in the world? I don't know. I'm packing. I'm letting things go. But I don't really, how do people want to even come out in this weather to get their $10 treasures from my love shelves? I don't know how that works. But I know when the sky looks like this, I'm probably not supposed to live here anymore. And I know I'm grateful to have a job, and it dumps some money in my account, but my contract is up in December. I don't need to keep paying rent on a space that I have to care that I'm turning 55 this year. Next year, within a year. I have to care about that. And I have to care about 56 and 57 and 58. And I designed a life where I get to live alone, so I do. And I know life will surprise me. She always does. And give me reason and purpose and continuance. But I was hoping for stability. Which is a weird thing for me to admit that I am wanting. But I am. And so it's interesting to come here in this now to that conclusion. And to notice what it feels like as the studio begins to get packed away, to put the magic markers away. That's the sky. With all the weaving and changing. And those are the prayer flags from 2020, from coronavirus, when I was making those. And then this amalgamation too. the divine feminine that now has a face, Breonna Taylor. Get to add her face to the faces. But of course, she isn't in the world anymore. Her mother is. And her mother would benefit from the police officers who killed her sleeping daughter in the middle of that night. She would benefit from them being charged with murder. And the conversation that could take place in a court of law over the right of an armed, uniformed human being to do that to a sleeping EMT in the middle of COVID. Maybe there's a conversation that should be had. I don't know. I do know what I think. But I was just in bias training, unconscious bias training, and the woman told me to shut up, essentially, because I was very educated and sounded like I knew a lot about the topic. And I thought, how interesting. None of the people in the bias training were of African descent, unless you count the all of us who are from Africa, because that is where our oldest living being comes from. On this day, 23 years ago, 22 years ago, I got to give birth to this baby girl. Let's see. Kirsten Trepar's mother, Kathy Trepar, gave me that beautiful orange robe that I have not been able to find even a facsimile of since. Necklace for that day. And though she said she was coming in the morning when the water broke as her dad left for work, she did not actually appear until much later in the day. So much. I love the life she represents. I love the artist she's become. Surprise, surprise, surprise. My painting, my commission was completed yesterday. And she's sending it off to me. I hope I have an address where I can receive her painting. 22. My baby is 22. And I am leaving what has been my only home. Is that true? And I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going because the sky is orange. My son has a friend of his, an actor, who left New York to go to Oregon, only to be in the fires today. These decisions to leave are agonizing, you know. To let go of, to let go of, to let go of, to learn to let go of. But you know what? To stay in life and learn to let go of things in such a way that you can be weft and woven into the fabric of what it is to be in your place, in your time.